Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. Today, we're going to be taking a look at some of our altcoins of the day. I'm going to be doing a video on 5 altcoins that are available on Coinbase. We're going to be taking a look at Near Protocol, ICP, Internet Computer, Polygon or MATIC, Pangolin, PNG, and Golem, GLM. So starting off with fear and greed, we are up above 76, so into extreme greed. When we zoom out a little bit this last year, you'll notice we've been having this higher trend up. Recently, when we peaked in extreme greed at 90, came down a little bit, but I'm wondering if we're getting another bounce to go back up. And we've been in this uptrend ever since middle of 2022. Now, this wasn't the true bottom. The true bottom was in November, but these levels we have not seen since the mid-cycle top in 2017. That's this right here. Or since Bitcoin made a new all-time high in 2020 from where it was in 2017. That's right here, December. It got up to 65,000. So here's getting over 20,000, got up to 60, 65,000 in here. And then when greed was this high, this was Bitcoin's all-time high last cycle at around 69,000. We've eclipsed that, and I'm wondering if we are going to stay up in here before going to even greater all-time highs, maybe something between 120 to 150,000 for Bitcoin. Did not mean to make an eclipse joke there, but hey, I hope you got to see and enjoy the eclipse today. Also, we have this halving chart. The halving is coming up around April 19th, 20th, something like that. And if you notice, each halving, the price of Bitcoin goes up a buy zone. So it goes up from these zones here that we have on this log scale. So first halving, we were all the way down. Second halving, up into the buy zone. Third halving, accumulate. Fourth halving, will we be in the still cheap zone? Somewhere in that green box between 52.5 and 68.5. Right now we're above that in the middle zone, the yellow zone. So, really what this means overall is it the best time to buy Bitcoin? No, it's kind of right in the middle. And also we are at new all-time high regions. So definitely with where greed is, if you are brand new to Bitcoin, crypto, you don't have any, I would tell you to be extremely cautious right now. Timing the market's more important than timing the market. Not saying you can't make gains on some of these altcoins that I'm going to talk about, but do know that the time to buy in isn't as favorable as when we were down here. When Bitcoin was at 20,000, 16,000, heck, even 30,000. Alt season chart, you can see we had this downtrend, and it for sure looks like we're breaking up. So maybe it comes down a little bit, and as it does, Bitcoin dominance might go higher. But then if this trend continues, maybe we see something like we did here in 2021 where alt season starts to spike. So taking a look at Bitcoin, I have Bitcoin on the Heikin-Ashi candles. Now, these are a little bit different than the regular time to interval candles. And what you'll notice here is that we finally have the body of the candle above this gray line. Now, this gray line was or is, as close as I could put it, to the former Bitcoin all-time high. And that's really important. Now, I know you're waiting for the altcoins, but this is why it's important. This is part of a bigger story here. So as Bitcoin in the past has pumped up above prior all-time highs, the altcoins steadily pump up with it. And then when Bitcoin dominance drops, that is the percent of crypto money that's in Bitcoin. When it drops down to the low 40% like it did here, okay, this right here is when alt season went parabolic, when if you were lucky enough to be holding certain altcoins, they may have done a 5x, a 10x, or even more. And you can take a look at the dates at the bottom from March till early May of 21. That's when we went parabolic. I was here for that bull run, and I was here for this one too, from middle of December 2017 to the first week of January. That's when altcoins went crazy. Now, if you kept holding into here, you lost about 50% or more of the gains that it made. So you definitely want to sell. If you have any altcoins, sell as it's dumping or as Bitcoin dominance is dumping. So a couple key things here. Bitcoin dominance, the candle body is as high as it's ever been this cycle. Okay, not the wick, but this is looking very bullish. So I am waiting for this to crash down. Now, how high will it get? I don't know. We have this trend line, which, trend lines are only good for as long as they're good for. So maybe it'll touch this trend line. I also have this line right here when Bitcoin dominance hits support and some resistance. I know it's not perfect. So I'm wondering if the dominance gets up to around 57 before tanking, and then that's when alt season goes parabolic. Tether dominance, overall amount of money in Tether, when it touches this line, this tends to be near where there's tops in the markets, whether it's the second Bitcoin top, 69K, the 65K one, the top before the COVID dump, or any of those before. Now, if I take off one of these buy-sell indicators and put on RSI, something I've talked about is that when the RSI on the weekly was below 50, it was okay that it touched this line because it stayed there from early February all the way through. Remember what I talked about early May? This is when Bitcoin went from like 60, 65,000 to in the 30,000s over here. And so I'm wondering, because we're so low on the weekly RSI, now it can spike up, that is possible, that maybe over the next 2 to 4 months, Bitcoin goes to 120K, if not more. Altcoins go nuts near the end, and that's the end of the bull run, and then rate cuts kick in. So something to keep in mind. And if you want to see those dates for yourself, I'll show you right here. I'll just zoom in. So remember, I said early February. Where was that? That was right over here. So we were already past all-time highs, which was this gray line. And by the way, look at this candle body. The first candle body that closed or finished above the all-time high, that was a signal we were going higher. So something to keep in mind for Bitcoin. This may be the start of a mega bull run, and it's possible we don't get back down to these, 51,000 prices or even 42,000 until we have our blow off top first. So anyways, let's go over to ICP. Let's start out with ICP. And what do we notice here? Well, ICP, this one's a little tricky because, where do we start this fib? I drew a fib from the first buy-sell signal I could find. Let me throw that back up here. And I drew it at the top there. It did not make sense to draw from up here. If you do the calculations, you see the price at the side. If you do the calculations, 2,800, whatever, divided by what it is now and multiply times the market cap, it doesn't make any sense. So not sure why it printed that high. But even if you go from here, where the market cap does make more sense, okay, you draw a fib from the high to the low, and we make sure that our fib is on log scale anytime we're looking between it. Okay, if ICP got back to where it is when we started this chart, then that would be pretty amazing. That'd be like a 20 or 30x. Will it get there? I don't know. I've seen videos talking about ICP going to 300, 400. Sure, if it gets to the 786 or higher, I think you'd be foolish not to take profits. But we do have a weekly buy signal. And on the weekly, you see the candles, we're running into resistance at this line right here is the 100-week moving average. We also have the 382, which it wicked up to as well. And so we have a couple key areas of resistance that I'd like to see ICP get past. Now, as far as the market cap, because that's what truly matters, do not trust any of those other YouTubers that throw crazy numbers who have no idea about what market cap is. It's the number 18 overall crypto has a market cap of 8 billion. So if it did a 10x, it's 80 billion. A 20x, then that's a 160 billion. Sorry, Work brain, you understand. So a 10x, obviously that would put us at 177, which is right at the 786. Okay, so a 10x to here, that kind of makes sense. Now, I know it sounds crazy to say because we never talk about this with stocks or anything. Like, yeah, in 2-3 months, this thing could 10x. It sounds completely stupid. Guys, I'm telling you, if it been around in the 2017 and the 2021 bull runs, it'll be slowly crawling up if you're in the right altcoin, and all of a sudden, boom, it pops off when the Bitcoin dominance drops. I've been through it twice. I've had altcoins like Tron, District, OX. I'm trying to think of some others. Cardano, Link, things that just popped off. So it is possible. Have all the altcoins I've bought popped off? No. But overall, through this time, I do try to buy more in these low risk areas and look for some signals that, will say like, hey, we have a monthly buy signal or weekly buy signals. We're getting past some resistance, higher lows, all that. So if we go to the daily, what do we see here? On the daily moving average, you'll see here we're between the 10 and the 20. And recently, okay, here's the 50-day moving average. Maybe it'll come back down to that. You can set a buy order. And one time here it came down to the 100-day moving average. So we'll see what happens. But it's green on the daily, and on the weekly, it's green. When it hit the 10-week moving average, it's green. Now it wicked, touched this fib line. The body is so far staying in line with the 100-week moving average. If it gets above that, I'm feeling pretty good about ICP. So would I be buying ICP right now? No, it's at a yearly high. I don't ever want to chase something, any asset, even if I love it. I want to like an asset. I want to believe in it. Of course, do your own research. And also try to be patient enough to get it when the price is better, when it's looking good. So right here, I wouldn't be buying it, but let's say you're new to crypto, you've really done your research. Maybe if there's a pullback and it hits one of these moving averages, like the 100 or the 200 on the daily, sure. On the weekly, we've only come down to, after it's started going up, this is the 50-week moving average. It hasn't come back down to it, so maybe you look for this fib line, something around $10. Otherwise, I think more realistically, because it only wicked to the 20-week moving average, right now that might be a buy order, something around 13, if we have that. No guarantees, but ICP, it's looking good. Would I buy it right now? No, but I am happy with how the chart is looking. Next, let's go to near protocol. And all right, what do we see here? So I haven't charted this one yet. You can see here this coin came out close to where Bitcoin was making new all-time highs in late 2020. Remember what I talked about at the start of the video? And near, when it came out, before all-time highs, it was at around $1, came up to 7, down to 2, and then as high as 20. So if you got it down here at $1 or even $2, it's possible you could have made a 10x there. So let me show you how we chart here. So you go from the prior high to the prior low. And before we put the fib on log scale, we can take a look at some of these extensions as possible price targets. Okay, so near protocol, let's see what I don't know which crypto it is overall, but if we type in near and see what comes up, okay, it's a number 19 overall. I did not know that. Its market cap is a little bit under 9 billion, right? Which makes sense. A lot of those cryptos that are around this area in the high teens to the 50s are kind of in that $3 to $10 billion market cap. So it's got, let's just say, an $8 billion market cap. We'll round up. So a 10x would put it around 80 billion, and a 10x would make this 77. Do any of our fibs get close to the 77 mark? Well, you can see here, if it did do a 10x or somewhere around there, we're right near these two fib extensions, the 3618 and the 4236. And again, we talked about 10x, it could mean it's worth 80 billion. Now, do I believe it's going to stay there? No. You can take a look at the prior all-time highs. When it was up there, it went from 20 all the way down to $1. So if you have gotten into near, even on the last weekly buy signal, which it was bouncing off the 100-week moving average, got a buy signal is at $3. If you got it there, congratulations. I hope it works out for you. But those are some possible price targets as we look higher. Now, as far as looking at this more accurately with where it is now, between our prior high and low, what do we see? Well, we are above the 618 fib. That's good. It's so bullish. We are above our moving averages. That's good. My one area of pause is, kind of like back here, it looks similar, where it may go sideways, even down. And as you can see, the candle bodies, as they hit this 10-week and 100-week moving average, and I know it's not had the most time, we don't even see the 200, it bounced off that area. So I would be curious to see maybe it flattens out, comes down to this 640 level, meets the 10-week moving average, and then hopefully bounces up again. Let's see if the daily time frame tells us anything more. So as we take a look at the daily, you can see we first touched the 50-day moving average, then came down to the 100. We also had this fib we were dealing with too. Came back down to the 100, off the 50, off the 50, down to the 50. So maybe you're following the 50 to get some deals. Now the 50-day moving average is coming right up to the fib at $6.40. And, if you want to really see if you can get a deal, you can look at this 100-day moving average, because that was as low as it's really gone since this bull run has started. So follow the 100-day, and maybe you could catch a wick somewhere around $5 to $6. So that's what we got for near. Next, let's take a look at Polygon or MATIC, and let's zoom way out here. See if all right, fib looks like it's on a log scale. And what do we notice? Well, on the weekly, we had a sell signal, played out, went below this 0.5 fib. Now you see a wick there to the 100 and the 50-week moving average. Now the candle body is staying right there above the 20-week moving average. And it's stuck between this, you see the blue, the 10 and the 20 moving average. So, and it's on the 0.5 fib. So good time for it to have a reversal, turn around. MATIC, by the way, what's MATIC's market cap? A little over 9 billion. Okay. So we can take a look at where some of those fib extensions would be if it goes higher. First of all, let's take a look at the daily. What did we notice? Well, the daily, I really like how this looks, by the way, with the fibs, how we had support. This fib became resistance. I believe it's the 618. Support, resistance at the 20-day moving average, support at the 200. This dark blue line is the 200-day moving average. And right now it's testing the 100-day moving average. So we got recently a buy signal on the daily, and on the weekly, you can see our sell signal has played out. Now, one thing I like on the weekly, or, in a bull perspective, is we have these candle wicks trending up. We have a higher low. I know it's in a short time frame, but you can see here, if we drew a trend line, I'll draw it for you guys just this once, okay? But we have this trend line, so maybe it's not the worst time. If MATIC broke underneath this, though, we would really need this fib line at 74 cents and this 200-week moving average at 71 cents. We need that to hold. So I don't know if it will get down there. Now, obviously, if Bitcoin all of a sudden decides to dump and go to 51K, then yeah, of course I'd see this happening, if not lower. But, if you're trying to catch a weekly buy signal somewhat early, maybe this is something. Now, we had that come in here on the daily, and it did not show up on the weekly. Okay, you can see on the weekly what happened. We just trended down. But on the daily, we did get a turnaround, and if any of you were looking to buy that on this fib, Then, and over the 100-day, boom, you got faked out. You could have bought it at around $1, seen it go up to $1.10, only to come back down to 90 cents. So is that going to happen again? I mean, sure, take your bets. I do like, though, how we have the 200-day support. And as far as we're seeing, since this bull run really started, it only got under that 200-day support once, but it tested the fib, came back up, tested it again, and boom. So we tested the fib, okay? Now what we need to see is it come back up, get above this 100-day like it did back here. Now the 50 slapped it down a little bit, so maybe it's going to get down to the 50. But then if it comes back to, well, here you can see we were below the 200, but we had the fib. So what I would hope to see is come up to the 50, come down to the 100, and then boom, bounce. So right now we have lower highs, lower lows. Okay, that's micro bearish, but maybe this is an area where we do something like this, and away we go. So take your bets. If you threw in a little bit of money, dollar cost average in, I wouldn't blame you. All right, so that's what we got for MATIC. Next, let's take a look at pangolin. Those bastards that caused worldwide COVID pandemic. Just joking. Don't bite my head off. No political statements, please. All right. It's kind of funny how some say their market cap, some don't. So market cap, 119 million. Now I have a buddy, he threw some money at pangolin. It's like, yeah, I heard about this stupid coin on Coinbase. I'm just going to throw a couple $100 at it. He's hoping maybe this thing can do like 100x, and it's one of those gambling picks. Now, all right, what do we have here? This thing started in October 22. That's good. I'm glad to see a coin that doesn't come out right at or after the new all-time highs are created. Bottomed here in October 23 at around 2 cents. And right now it is at 50 cents. So it's done a 25x since then. All right, cool. So we're not working with too much here. We could draw from a high to the low. I'm not really sure how much a fib is realistically going to give us. But maybe, oh, would you look at that? Oh, would you look at that? Kind of funny how that works. So we drew a fib from the high to the low of this wick. And what do we got? We're at this 1618. Now, we have these wicks, and part of the body is closing above it. If we get a candle body completely to close above it, I would like that a lot. And then the next area would be the 2618 would be at $5. So that could be a 10x should things get crazy. Now, guys, I hope this goes without saying, but let me say it out loud anyways. These low market cap altcoins are very risky. Some of them are just massive rug pulls where they go up for a day, like 100x, and then they dump. So if you do get in, which I wouldn't right now, okay, we haven't had a buy signal since it was down here at 7.5 cents. But if you did, do yourself a favor and create a sell order. You can do that where you can set a price target. Maybe you buy it now, okay, and then you're like, you know what? I'm just going to set a sell order for $5 and forget about it. And if I can turn 100 to 1,000, cool. All right, whatever. That's just a little piece of advice, because you might be at work when one of these low cap altcoins, I'm not kidding, I've seen this happen so many times where all of a sudden they just ape up. They go 100x like inside of a couple hours, and you missed it, and then it dumps. And it sucks because it's like, well, I could have had $10,000, $100,000. So do be careful with that. On the daily, same thing here. We're right at this fib. We're staying in line with these 10 and 20-day moving averages. We have daily buy signal. We have this big flag pattern forming here. So does it not look like it did kind of back here where it's just getting ready to hop up a few more fib levels again? So here, is between these two fibs, and then boom, it moved up. So macro bullish, this is where, you take a look at some of these numbers and heck, anything's possible. Can you imagine? Let's do some reverse calculations right here. I'll pull up my calculator on the phone. So if Penguin got to 228 bucks, okay, we divide it by its current price, which is 55 cents. That is a 414x, okay? But again, we have to consider market cap. You cannot ignore market cap. So we take that times 119 million and we get somewhere around 49 billion. Okay, can Penguin get to $49 billion market cap? I have my doubts. Okay, however, maybe, if you're just watching these fibs, these could be levels to set sell orders to, and maybe you set a certain percent to sell so you can keep some profits, get your buying money back, and then play with house money. So maybe you take 25% profits here, and then you set another sell order for 50% of profits at this 53.5 level. That's a 3618, okay, 100x. And then if it goes up 4 times that, maybe you have a 25% sell order. Instead of at 228, hell, put it at 220. Who cares? We're pinching pennies at that point. So that's how I might go about it. But of course, take your own risks and don't get too greedy. When I've seen this happen with altcoins before, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, I have seen this happen. You have to be quick, and it's best to just have those orders in place. And guys, there's no guarantees. This thing might just dump off completely. I haven't researched this one. I don't know if most of the coins are owned by the developer, and they've just been buying in down here, and they want the price to get around here, and they're just going to rug pull it on everyone. If you don't know what a rug pull is, please do your research on what crypto rug pulls are. You don't want to be involved in it. Set your sell orders. Don't get greedy. Don't chase the pumps. I'm not buying this, even if I wanted to educate a gamble. So be careful. All right. Last one. Let's go with Golem. Golem, Schmiegel, my precious. Okay, what do we got here for Golem? So GLM, it doesn't show the market cap on the side. I'm curious what it is. I know there's like an old Golem and a new Golem on Coinbase. So it's it's the 148th overall crypto as far as market cap. And it has around a $600 million market cap, 592 million. Okay, that's Golem. And if we draw a fib, okay, and you can see here it's gone above its original all-time highs. Now, when did this come out? March of 2023. Okay, so it's been about a year. Now, if we draw a fib we're on the weekly now, so we're not going to see the 100-week moving average or 200-week, not enough time's passed. Okay, do we notice anything? Well, the candle body didn't get too far under the 786 fib here at 51 cents. Okay, it got down to 50, but it held. We have a weekly buy signal, and we're still in line with it. Okay, so that's promising. If we take this off log and take a look at some of the extensions, just for fun, we can see that some of these extensions are, and again, we're at 60 cents right now. So the 1618 is at $1, $1.50, 211, 250. Okay, so here, this would be around a 4x. Can it go higher? Of course it can. However, when we're looking at this right now, okay, we're seeing, is this something, I'm going to do my research on? Do I like it? It's got the weekly buy signal. That's good. It's overall looking bullish. But again, be careful, guys. I can't say this enough. With greed being as high as it is and Bitcoin being at that new all-time high region, just please be careful. So yeah, we're in this range. We're between the 618 and the 786 fib. It's looking like it's forming this positive flag pattern and getting ready to go up. If we take a look at the daily, what do we notice? Well, the daily, it really likes this 50-day moving average. It's come down to it twice. Loved it a ton here. until it got under the 200-day moving average. So, in a max bearish situation, you could maybe set certain percent of buy orders. What's nice here, we have the 100-day right at the 0.5 at 42, 43 cents. We have the 200-day coming up to the, what is that, the 382? Yep, the 382 at 36, what does it say? 36 cents and 2/5. So, what's nice is these moving averages are right by these fibs, and we have the 50-day moving average just above the 618 at around 50. So if you set a buy order, try to get something like 51 cents or 43 cents or 37 cents, sure. Not sure you would hit these two, but just in case. At a recent daily buy signal, it's jumping off the 20. It's closing above the 786. I like this. I think chart-wise, it's looking very strong, and we did get some recent buy signals. Weekly, I still think we're within a nice range of where this weekly happened. You're not always going to catch the lower end of a wick, so anywhere in this body, between 53 and 57 cents, we're just above that. So if you did your research on Golem, you already have Golem, you're wondering if, it's best time to buy some more, I wouldn't blame you if you did. But again, the 786, I do want to see a close above it. I do want to see a candle close above this level, and we'll see it. We're wicking above it, but I do want to see a close above it. We are making higher lows, but you can see we've had lower highs as well. So this thing's getting ready to shoot up either way. Overall, staying above the moving averages as well as we can, having the buy signal, that looks good to me. But this fib having as much resistance as it has, that's the one area that causes me pause. Well, two areas, that and how long we've stayed above these moving averages. So I would like if it came down, to this 10-week moving average, the 618, somewhere around 50, and then shot off. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you are all doing well and that you had a great weekend. If you got to see the eclipse, awesome. Let me know what you thought if you were able to see it. And yeah, if there's any altcoins or stocks, I do videos on stocks that you would like for me to take a look at, be happy to. It's up to you to do your own research. I can't research the thousands, tens of thousands of stocks and cryptos out there. I am in some. I don't want to say which because, I'm not here to influence you guys to buy or sell things or, give financial advice. Just my opinion, entertainment purposes, all that stuff. But I part of the reason for me doing this channel is one, for me, because I like talking about this stuff, and two, too many channels, I don't think, talk about the realistic aspects with stocks and crypto. Too many people ignore market cap completely. Drives me crazy. Or give these unrealistic price expectations, Bitcoin to 500K, all this stuff. I'm not here to be mega bullish, mega bearish. Honestly, from my field of psychology that I've worked in a long time, we have to remove our biases. And, in psychology, we can call that transference. When we're trying to place our own emotions onto something, we got to try to remove that as best we can and take a look at the positives, take a look at the negatives, and then, at the end of the day, take your own risks. But you can't make money without having any skin in the game. That's important to know too. So you can be as careful as you want, wait for all the perfect conditions, and that might never happen. So, if you haven't already, think about writing down a plan on things to look for, maybe your top 5 stocks, top 4 cryptos, and price targets. Maybe you have indicators with moving averages, fibs, buy signals, and you look for a combination of things to meet your plan. So when the price meets the conditions of your plan, then you feel more comfortable. It's always a risk, no guarantees, but you feel more comfortable buying in and getting max value. One thing you can do is, heck, for stocks or crypto, turn on the monthly buy signals and even start there. So anyways, hope everyone's doing well. Thanks for watching. Take care.